What a day for the derbies. Now on BBC One, all today's championship action with Manish Bhasin.
Evening, welcome along to the best from the npower Football League. It's been a testing few days for the sport following the events in Serbia, not to mention, of course, yesterday's Yorkshire derby. So could we end the week on a more positive note? Leroy's here to reflect on the main talking points from all 36 games, and here's a quick rundown of what else we've got for you tonight. It's a week of local derbies on the Football League show. In the capital, the Championship's form side Crystal Palace met South London rivals Millwall in a game which lived up to its billing. We reflect on unsettling scenes at Hillsborough on Friday night, which marred an otherwise captivating local derby between Sheffield Wednesday and Leeds. With action from a Lancashire affair as managerless Burnley entertained a Blackpool side who've looked a little off colour in recent weeks.
And with their 14 years in exile now a distant memory, we ask what next for Brighton. We're at the Amex as Gus Poyet's team test their promotion credentials against Middlesbrough.
Now, much has changed at Brighton since Gus Poyet became the Seagulls manager 3 years ago. A move from the Withdean to the Amex, promotion to the Championship, not to mention several plaudits for the manager. Well, Albion was sitting pretty in the playoff positions going into the weekend, and Clem went south to catch up on a team heading in the opposite direction.
Brighton's 14 years without a place to call home shaped a generation of supporters who were as familiar with land wrangles as football formations. Now they're making up for lost time. They went into the weekend boasting the Football League's biggest average crowds. Oh, the times they are a-changing. 25,500 luxuriating in a stadium that has pushed the boundaries in every respect. Their next challenge to rewrite the history books on the field. Since their formation in 1901, Brighton have been in the top flight for only 4 seasons. It's amazing, isn't it? Do you know something? First things first, we stood on this spot 2 years ago. Oh. I mean, this is another world, isn't it?
Completely. We go here. Last year it was spectacular, great football days in here. And then I found out that we were putting an extra 5,000–6,000 seats. And I think more pressure for the manager.
Do you feel the pressure to deliver the team that goes with this?
I do, and I love it. That's me.
Now, is there any danger that you start to try and run too quickly?
We're very realistic about where we are, where we've come from and where we want to get to. It's just a question now of actually working hard to make sure we keep moving in the right direction.
I know that people would like to go to the Premier League tomorrow, but I'm realistic. It's too difficult. There is too many teams. We just started to get used to the Championship. We will try.
The stadium is a fantastic sort of foundation for us to move forward. We've now got planning permission for our new training ground as well, so we can start to attract and retain the best young players, attract the best players that we can to the football club, and hopefully keep things moving ahead.
Is the soul of Brighton still here?
The soul is very much intact, and it's just got very bigger very quickly. And I think it took a couple of, when we first got here, it was just you had to pinch yourself because we were gone up the division and we were still playing well. But then it took getting walloped by Palace again. And
that
some of the dark days. Yeah, a sense of community comes out of collective strife.
So what are you thinking of doing?
Let's see. If they want me here, I will stay. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. And like I said, if we don't hit the roof, if there is no roof that we can always go and improve, I will stay here for long.
Borough searching for their 3rd consecutive away win. Have the ball now with Ledbetter. Emnes. Still going Amex, it's in! Oh, it's gone all the way through. It's taken a wicked deflection, I think, off Gordon Greer. Here's Bridge. Mikhail Smith in the centre! Great chance. Here's Bridge. Support here with Barnes. Lofts it high. Lopez. Good save, Steele. And now Hammond. Middlesbrough standing firm as Tony Mowbray looks to celebrate his 100th game in charge with a win. Hammond sends in the ball. Barnes. Good save, Steele. Mikhail Smith can't follow up either. Hammond. Now Barnes might fancy his chances. Good save, Steele again. And now Buckley. Good block, Parnaby. Buckley again. Can't hit the target. Ledbetter. Kushak with an important save. Got his fingertips to it.
Do the boys need to get used to the bigger crowds, the heightened expectations? Because you'll be aware you've dropped more points here now than you've actually...
I think they need to be used to plenty of things. That's one. Second one is how the opposition is going to play here. How difficult they're going to make it for us. So when you have one chance, you need to make sure you put it in, because that will change the game. It's not the same if you're winning. It's not the same if you're coming back in the game and the atmosphere is coming up. And that is it's up to the players. And yeah, could be. I'm going to check a little bit more on that. Maybe a few players, they start feeling a little bit of pressure, and it would be really unfair on them, because I don't think they should feel like that.
Gus Poyet learning there that his team are clearly being targeted after their recent success.
They've been shown the respect they deserve. I saw them, and in the season was very impressed. I'm not surprised teams are going there with most probably a back four, keeping them in place, because they invariably play with the three, spread wide, Brighton, and I'm sure the fullbacks aren't coming out too often. So it's up to Brighton to break them down. And what's Gus saying there, they need to take that early chance to open up the game, and that's what they haven't been doing.
As for Middlesbrough, it keeps them in the hunt, of course. I mean, we're early on in the season, they're just on the fringe of the playoffs. And look at their injury list. I mean, they've been without 11 key players at various times so far this season already. Yeah. Staggering, isn't it?
It is. And I think the key for Middlesbrough to keep a certain Jonathan Woodgate fit, they've got Muga with him now, and also another experienced centre-half. I was impressed with the sign of Ledbetter. I've always liked him, when he was at Sunderland. I think he was at Ipswich as well. They keep those key players fit down the centre of the pitch, then they can move forward. Because I know that Tony, he likes to play, and then people like McEachran going there and having a real influence. So keeping those key players fit is going to be important. But they're doing okay. I mean, 7th now.
Yeah, they certainly are.